PSG 2, Arsenal 1, 3-1 on aggregate, and the Gunners end up trophyless again. No trophies in North London again. Well, for Arsenal. And they are going to be absolutely fuming. Yeah? Lead judges, fuming. Don't give me all these excuses, right? The first 20 minutes, first 25 minutes, right? We huffed and puffed a bit. But after that, what did we do? We're nearly men, Robbie. We're nearly men. Right? Don't give me all that sort of like rubbish, all that sort of thing, like, right? At the end of the day, I've paid me money and we've got no striker. We beat these in the league phase. Why? Why are they better than us then? Why? You tell me. Thomas Partey was back tonight. Was supposed to make a difference. Mikel Merino back up front. Declan Rice back in the 8. Nothing. Nothing. Heart at a halt. And then it's going to be Robbie. Hold on. Wait a minute. But that if Donnarumma didn't make those saves, we would have been all right. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You can't just say Arteta out for that. No, hold on. Wait a minute. If Saka scored the open goal with his right foot, we would still be in there playing extra time now. No, hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. If Declan Rice didn't do that silly free kick that led to the goal before in the first half, we would still be in it. Excuses. And then there's time. Who are PSG anyway? Who are PSG anyway? They're so insignificant, you have to call them 3 letters. Just PSG. No one even calls them by their proper name. No one even calls them by their proper name. And when last did they win the Champions League? When last did they win the Champions League? And you have to remember it was raining at the Parc des Princes. It was raining. So, it is slightly, it's disappointing. But, Ben and Urian and Declan and Martin, and Gabriel 1. Oh, sorry, Gabriel 2. Of course, they'll be disappointed. They'll be disappointed. But I have to say, I'm proud of the boys. But Luis Enrique, why? What about the time when they fouled up players? Why did they get that penalty against Miles Lewis-Skelly? Where was it? Where was his hand supposed to go? And David Raya did save the penalty. So on a different day, PSG are nobodies. PSG absolutely nobodies. Clearly nobodies. That's all it's going to be. That's all it's going to be tonight. Excuses. But at the end of the day, Arsenal are trophyless once again. Empty-handed. Them not collect nothing. And really, over 2 legs, they didn't deserve to win. Now, the fun is over. I'm going to dissect the game. I like to have fun. That's what it is. But if we're being serious, if we're being real, didn't do enough. Didn't do enough. Let's talk about PSG, because they deserve all of the plaudits that they're getting, really. They made light work of the Premier League. Light work of the Premier League. And the Arsenal fans, listen, there's a lot of them saying, tell you what, PSG, you know what? We beat them 2-0 in the league phase. We already beat them. We beat them 2-0 in the league phase. So, we'll be all right against them. Nah, mate. Different PSG, mate. They found that out last week. And PSG have made light work of the Premier League. They dusted down City. They dusted down Liverpool over 2 legs. I know they won on penalties, but they deserved it. They really, really did, especially that first leg in Paris. They were exceptional. They beat Villa. Difficult game in the end, but they did it. They hung on in there. And they've just beat Arsenal on aggregate relatively comfortably. And Donnarumma, some of the saves he made. This is where Arsenal, sometimes you just got to hold your hands up and be like, he just made top level saves. Top level saves. That one for Odegaard in the first half, round the corner, was exceptional. The one going top bins for Saka, up round the post, exceptional saves. Big saves. But also at the same time, Arsenal are wasteful. They've been wasteful. Do you know what I mean? Arsenal They should have been 3-0 up in that first 20 minutes, really. The Declan Rice header should have scored, missed the target. You expect better from Declan Rice there, you know. He makes a match-saving tackle after that, but also he gives away the free kick that leads to the first goal. So Arsenal's individual errors and naivety in the end, and the quality of PSG, of course, they're still nearly men. This is what happens. They didn't invest in the summer properly. They didn't invest in January properly. You know, if they had a clinical striker today, they'd probably take them chances. But they got it all to do. They know what the assignment is. But PSG deserve all the credit. We shouldn't take any credit away from them. The difference between them and Arsenal is that first 20 minutes that PSG had at the Emirates, PSG took their chance. You know, whether it's goalkeepers or not, sometimes when a goalkeeper's having a stormer, you have to put the finish beyond doubt. You have to just make sure you score. And Arsenal didn't do that in that first 20 minutes. And even in that first 20 minutes, when PSG were under the cost, they still hit the post with Kvaratskhelia. Let's have it right. And they had that breakaway where I think Doué messed it up with Barcola. So they had some little nervy moments, even when PSG were on the back foot in that first 20 minutes. And then they get their goal, and that took the wind out of the sails of Arsenal. It really, really did. Then second half, it's about the game management. You know, it really is. It's about the game management. The Lewis Skelly penalty, I'll be honest, I thought it was a bit harsh, but when you watch it back, if your arms are out there, you're always going to be asking for trouble. You're always going to be asking for trouble, aren't you? You just are. And yeah, I think it's not a performance over two legs. If I'm being deadly honest, I like to stick the boot in on Arsenal a little bit, yeah. But if I'm being honest, over two legs, they did give a lot. They did. It wasn't enough ultimately. You can round it off by that underline full stop. It wasn't enough. You could say it to cows come home. But they showed they could compete in moments. But like I just touched on, unfortunately, like moments just ain't enough. Moments just ain't enough. It's not. It's not. In the Champions League, it's the fine margins. And when PSG calmed down and got their act together, they did the business, man. You know, Donnarumma made massive saves in the first half as well, in the first leg as well. You know, look, Arsenal had 20 shots and 5 on target. PSG had 11 and 6, and just slightly less possession. But it's the quality in the final moments. Arsenal are struggling to shake off this nearly men, and now that they've gone out of the Champions League, the inquest can begin, because the Premier League's slipping off a cliff. They've got Liverpool next. They're going to be down in the dumps, probably lose that. They might end up finishing third. So you're saying you finished second, then you've gone down to third. You're still not getting to finals. You know, they haven't been to a final since, obviously, I know they won the FA Cup in Arteta's first season, but there's going to be a lot of question marks there. But at the same time, a lot of these questions can be answered in the summer. They're still a very good team, Arsenal. They are. They're a very good team, and they're a few ingredients away from being a real top team, a real top team that can go and win the big honours. Now they're at that sort of mentality block where they can't get over the line for a bit of naivety and bad planning from the club in the summer. But take nothing away from PSG, man. They were exceptional. Big up to them. They deserve to go through over two legs. They really did. And what a final that's going to be. PSG against Inter. Two completely different styles, two completely different philosophies and ways of playing the game. But I can't wait to see them collide. I cannot wait. You've got that resilience and never say die attitude and heart of Inter Milan. And they play on the break as well, really well. Dumfries bombing on, DeMarco bombing on the other side, Thuram and Lautaro Martinez up front. And then look how PSG play without a proper recognized striker, fluid front three, always pressing. It's brilliant. It's going to be a great final. So lock in. Smash a like on the channel anyway, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Arsenal trophyless again. I'm happy. You're happy. Get out of here. Let's go. Peace.